We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live Talks. This is Nikhila here with you. And we have a very, very, very dear, darling person in my life who I'm happy to be happy that she's a part of my life. Her name is Zarine, and she's like a second mom to me, but a very fun one, in fact. And what we want to learn here today, honestly, is her specialty is gonging and sound healing. And in DRPF, we've always known that there is an importance to tools, techniques, and tones being the sounds, the vibrations that impact us. So, we're going to dive deeper into that to understand from a specialist over here. And off to you, Zarine, just to give an introduction, who you are and what is your background story, like what did you start with and what brought you to this sound healing journey?
Thank you, Nikhila, for inviting me to share my experience. So, I was a primary school teacher for 35 years of my life, and then sound entered. And I started studying how to play the gongs and the other instruments. And I stopped teaching and I moved completely into this arena of wellness with different healing modalities. And this is where I met you and Dr. Ramesh and did a whole year's course with the two of you and fell in love with you and your family.
Oh,
So I was, for people always asking, where are you from? I was born in Mumbai, brought up in Karachi. We have been in Dubai 30 years and more probably now. And we are Canadian as a family and we follow the ancient Zoroastrian Parsi faith. So it's a huge mix and people always try to place me as to where I'm from. Having said that, it's amazing to be in Dubai at this time because it's opening up so much to so many different wellness modalities and activities. And so I feel very blessed to be here. Thank you.
quick question. Now, you said sound came to you. Okay. Was there a specific experience or were you looking for it or did something happen over there in that phase when you found it?
So it's an interesting question. Thank you for asking it. I had just started facilitating guided meditations with music.
Okay.
And I had two ladies come to attend my session, and they said to me, "We are learning to play the gongs. Would you like to come and listen? The gong, by the way, is this.
Yeah.
And give us your feedback." So the next day I went with a friend and I just sat there and fell in love with the sounds and the way they were playing it. And one of those ladies became my first teacher. And later on, I went to England and studied with the Grand Gong Master, Don Conoro, and other teachers because the learning never ends. But once I sat through that first session, I used to go each time they were practicing. And after they finished practicing, she started playing for groups. And I would do the guided meditation with music. Then we would shut the music and she would gong. So later on, when I requested her to teach me, we were planning to play together. This is
Amazing.
how.
That's awesome. Like honestly, it just tells me that it's never too late to find your purpose, right? You said you were a primary school teacher and
Definitely.
it found you, and that's amazing, right? As long as you follow your heart,
That's true.
key, right?
That's
Yeah.
true. And so many teachers come into your life, darling, like Dr. Ramesh came into ours. It's amazing because I listened to another gentleman who also became one of my teachers, and I quit my job the next month.
Oh, wow.
I gave in my resignation, but of course I had to finish 2 months. But that was another thing that happened that pushed me, I think, towards this path.
Yeah, of course. Every person comes into your life also as a teacher. Amazing. That's
Always, always.
yeah. So Now, I want you to tell us very specifically, can you break down and tell us how sound healing works? Like, what exactly is happening in our body at that time?
Yes, thank you. So I usually use the water bowl to explain how sound works with the body because it's the best way to do it.
Okay, let
And
me
as you
just
see here,
spotlight you so that it can be bigger. Yeah.
sorry.
I'm just spotlighting you so that it can
Ah,
be bigger for the entire, all
okay.
the
Yes.
guests.
So we have the water bowl, and when I rim it, it starts to bubble. Okay. So we use the water bowl to explain how sound works with the body. Our bodies have 76% and more liquids in them. And when you listen to the sounds of the bowls and the gongs, the sound enters through every pore of your skin, and the whole body becomes like a giant ear. Science tells us that water is a wonderful conductor for sound. So it takes the sound to every cell in the body that needs any kind of rest, any kind of relaxation, any kind of cleansing, clearing, restructuring, rejuvenating, and healing at a very deep cellular level. Science also tells us that we are made of atoms, and atoms have electrons in them, and electrons vibrate at different frequencies depending on where in the body they are. So each electron can pick up the perfect frequency for itself from the sounds that emanate from the gongs and train to those sounds and fall into a beautiful space of balance. And every system of healing will tell you that a balanced body is a body on its way to perfect physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health and well being.
Very interesting. So to go deeper, a little deeper into that, my thought over here is our sound, our voice also. That means also has a frequency, it also has a vibration.
Correct.
So hence you would say that when, like how, for example, in DRPF, we talk about self-instruction being key in also the self-healing potential to rise. Would you agree to that?
Correct. Absolutely. So we usually explain some point in the session that not that every word that we speak has a frequency and a vibration, and that it affects us first before it moves out into the universe, as Dr. Ramesh explains also, and changes everything in the universe before it actually reaches the person that you are talking to. And the tone of the voice
Yeah.
is probably the most important thing that we need to be aware of. Of course, the words, as they usually explain, are called spellings because they can cast spells.
Oh, wow. Amazing. So the tone means because the tone has the emotion connected to it, correct?
Correct.
Which has the energy. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Perfect. So now going more deeper and specific into what is gong meditation specifically. Like we've seen, the big gong which is behind you, and we have there multiple instruments that you work with. Please, if you can.
Correct. So the gong itself is what we call the sounds of creation, because when the gong is made, they hammer in the frequencies of the complete bouquet of all the frequencies in the universe. The gong behind me is called a symphonic gong, and this is what it has. But there are also gongs that have the frequency of different planets as recorded by NASA. So you will have a Venus gong, a Mercury gong, a moon gong. There are 3 different kinds of earth gongs. And each gong can be used for different purposes. But the symphonic gongs have these complete frequencies. And so, as Dr. Ramesh again explains, everything in creation started with sound. And sound waves compacted and became light, and light waves compacted and became shape. And so, sound, light, and shape are the 3 fundamental building blocks of creation. And so, if everything started with sound, it is only logical to comprehend that sound can be used to bring everything back into the space of balance, into the space of perfection. where the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies can come together and function at their optimal as they were created to function. And when we play the gongs, people usually come in, they lie down. Of course, they turn their phones off, which in itself is a huge healing for 1.25 hours. And they wear an eye mask, and they allow themselves to receive the sound so that they can be healed. So the sound goes in deep, carried by the water, as I showed you with the bowl, and it goes in and it does whatever cleansing, clearing, healing it needs to do within the cells. And the person is just lying there. We don't ask you to stop thinking. You can think as much as you want. You can just be aware of the sounds, aware of my words. And yet it goes in and does whatever it needs to do for each person differently. We sometimes have 20 people, we sometimes have 200 people, and everyone will receive what they need to receive in that moment that their soul allows them to receive, basically. And so I also explain with the water bowl that our bodies have these 9 different layers in the aura, and we know that we are electromagnetic beings.
Yeah.
And so, as the aura is comprised of these 9 different bodies, the sounds wash towards you and they heal each of these bodies. And finally, they come to the etheric body, which we are taught in quantum physics has vibrational duplicates of all your muscles, tissues, organs, cells, but also all your chakras, all your energy meridians, all your acupressure and acupuncture points. So healing happens at that etheric level, which is the first layer around the physical body, and then collapses into the physical body at what we call a quantum level. And quantum is again very, 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 very small. So we come back to the electrons and all the other smaller particles that they have now discovered. Quarks and string theory and all the empty spaces in between also get healed with the sound of the gong.
Essentially, our body recognizes these frequencies which are coming, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how it starts. So basically, we also, it's there within us in all the way till our atom and cellular level and everything. And I was just putting it all together while Betty was translating. So the gongs are the tools, right? Which
Correct.
is technically the holographic representation of all the frequencies present in the universe.
Yes.
And you are the facilitator, of course, over here. And our body only takes what it needs. It stops
Correct.
after it, right?
Correct. What it requires.
It takes only what it requires. So
Yes.
everyone, I
So-
just want you to realize that your body will take the assistance over here, because at the end of the day, that healing potential is there within each one of us. The gongs here have been developed in such a beautiful way to remind our bodies of its original state, or to reactivate that which has, gone into a sleeping state, or because of all the programs that we are connected to in this material world, and we've lost track of it.
Correct. And so oftentimes one person will wake up and say, today you didn't play as loudly as you usually play. And in the same session, somebody else will wake up and say, you were so loud today. So
Yeah.
everybody literally will hear and receive what they require, as I said, for that particular moment in time, for them to shift into that space of balance that the body needs to function at its optimal.
Correct. So that again, we can't compare each other's experiences. Your experience
No.
is
And Nikhila, let me explain here what happens.
yeah.
And then Betty can translate, because when people have their watches, the electronic Fitbits and things like that on, and they wake up and they show me that their sleep pattern is a complete rectangle for that 1.25 hours or so that we have been doing the session. Whereas the night before, what we call deep sleep is actually
Hmm.
so the body goes into intense rest because the gongs take you through different brainwave frequencies. And as the frequencies are changing, you move from being wide awake and very aware to within literally 3 or 4 minutes of the session, people tend to go into deep, deep sleep and rest and relaxation, even though they are hearing what I say, and even though they are listening to every sound that is being played, this is where their body receives this intense rest. And as we know, as Dr. Ramesh has taught us, we always heal at a time when we are in this deep state of rest.
Correct. You're still aware and conscious of all of it. Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
but the body is in deep rest.
Correct. Yeah, understood. Okay. And so now, like you were saying, of course, all clients are coming and they're seeking to change different things, right? It's obviously not limited to one thing, correct?
Correct.
But do you see, as people who come repetitively for your sessions, do you see eventually a shift coming, like, their self-awareness journey once they start doing your sessions?
Yes, definitely. They so we usually have, different guided meditation topics with each session. So because I'm in different centers and the topics are different, they will pick and choose where they want to come because intuitively they know what their needs are. And so even from the first session, you will see a change in their energy. The energy shifts as they leave. They are not just glowing in the skin, but they are always smiling and happy and, ready to hug you as they leave and talking to other people, making new friends, etc. And each time they choose to come, they return again and again, obviously, because they are feeling the benefit or they want that short break from the stress and the tension and the hectic lifestyle that we have in Dubai. Most of my sessions are usually in the evening because it is the corporate lot of people, ladies and men, that would like to come. We've done sessions for Dubai Police, for Prime Minister's Office, for other corporates like Google, Majid Al Futtaim. I've done Chanel and Chopard, and they will actually create these wellness breaks or wellness weekends or wellness weeks where they will invite us to do sessions for maybe 10 or 12 of their people, and then some more and some more and some more. So yes, because there is a benefit, we are invited again and again. And also because there is a benefit, they come again and again. So it's mainly emotional release that I feel happens during the session, because sometimes people will cry. We have even had bones being reset during the session, back pain that has been there for 20 years is what the lady said to me. She came with her husband the first time and she wanted to sleep on a treatment bed because she could not lie on the floor. The second time she came, she said, "Today I will lie on the mat, but I will sleep on my side." And the third time she came alone, and again she slept on her side, but halfway through the session, she turned on her back.
Wow, that's
And then
amazing.
when she woke up, she was so happy. And she blessed me and thanked me. And she said, "For the first time in 20 years, I am totally without pain." She said, with every session, it became less and less. She said, "In this last session, I felt it dropping downwards and then it was gone." So
Amazing.
things like headaches and backaches are quite often, people give me the feedback that they have gone and moved and shifted. And people often also choose life-changing decisions after they have done a particular session. I've had a lady who gave up her job And the next time she came, she's like, after the session, she said to me, it came to me in the session that I need to leave Dubai. And so she left Dubai.
Okay.
And so, many things happen during the session, as I said, different for different people, darling.
That's amazing. The only, so one thing which I want to specify is, right, that people who come for our sessions, even our classes, for example, or your sessions, there are a certain set, especially in the beginning phase of them, where they don't trust practicing on their own, whether it's our technique or even if you were to advise something for them to practice, they are attached to the fact that only you can help me through this and I can't do it on my own. So what
Yes.
I have realized is that most of the time people don't trust their own ability itself, and that is the first thing that they need to work on. Right?
Yes. So there are many options that they would have in order to work on things for themselves. So, for example, we would give them many tools during each of the different topics that we are doing. For example, anger release, we have physical exercises. I often do the solution with teenagers and children and even with adults at the beginning of the session so they can take it away and do it for themselves.
Yeah.
There are recordings online which are not 100% as effective as being in the space when you are being gonged, but they help to some degree. So people can do that. People can pick up the hertz frequencies. So there is a whole list of the hertz frequencies, darling, that work on different things.
Yeah.
And we can share it with your group later if you like, because they can then listen to that particular frequency. They can start with one bowl. They can start with one bowl and they can just play it and rim it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but all you have to do is this. And you gently go around. I don't think you can hear it, but it goes very,
I can hear it from here
loud.
because of my we're in the same house, so I can hear it. But
Yeah. So this is just a simple tool that anybody can pick up one bowl and work with. Even a shell. Let me blow the shell for you now. Any shell that has been cut can be blown, and it immediately clears the body, the whole space, the home. Just blowing the shell is a very potent sound that is used in all the temples usually as well. And it works wonders just with a bit of breathing or the first few steps of solution.
amazing. All of you out there who listening to us, I wish you could hear the sound. It is amazing. But if you want to experience her session, you'll have to come to Dubai, or I'll have to bring her to Mongolia with me one day.
Welcome to Mongolia, Zarine.
Betty and one of the groups did experience one of my session
Yes,
once.
yes.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I wanted to talk about. So we know, all of us know, in DRPF as well, and we know that the environment impacts us. And when the environment is under stress, whether it's underground or over the ground, it can impact us and our stresses also. I know that you do space clearings. Do you also use the sound for the space clearing?
Yes, definitely. I do use the sound, but also a lot of the solution for space that we studied
Right.
with your dad. And I mix and blend it together with other healing modalities that I have learned also. But definitely, sound is the most important component of space clearings after the pen and everything that we do that we were taught with the solution space clearing. So combined, they have a great impact as well. And of course, when the outer space is clear, People walk into a house and a room and they immediately feel the difference.
Yeah.
Wherever you gong, even if you just gong in a house, it would change the ambient energies. Because as Tesla said, everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. And so the intention is also very important. And when we mix and match modalities, it works super well.
Yeah, the potential increases. Yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Spoken about people, we've spoken about the environment, but we've not spoken about the cutest thing, which is pets and animals. Okay. Have you had any experiences with pets? First time, please share a story with us.
Yes, I will do that. But Nikhila, in the last 2 minutes, I would just like to do a gong blessing when we end, okay?
Sure.
Thank you. So regarding pets and animals, I have 2 dogs. I now have 1. And I took one of your pendants from Dad for my older dog who was not well. And it really helped. We do sound for dogs. So either they're all, I go to these pet clinics. There was one called Dog Walk in Dubai. They still have it, but they've changed location. And I used to gong in a room which had about 15, 20 dogs. And as we were playing the sounds, they would quieten down, and then they would go and sit in their perches. So they have like these baskets on the wall.
Yeah.
And the bigger dogs would jump up to the top, and the little ones would jump into their baskets at the bottom. And one was so active that he could not calm down. So I just picked him up and I was gonging with one hand.
So cute.
And then he fell asleep on my shoulder. But I have also done sound healing with the owners lying on a yoga mat and the dog in his or her basket. That worked very well. I have done sessions for horses. And we had a couple of horses belonging to a friend who wanted to try the session with them. And they really, really did things that they would never do in front of others because they were so relaxed. And muscles in everybody's bodies tend to move into this deep state of relaxation. Going back to humans, I once did a session for a spa where all her masseuses were lying down, and the guys woke up and they were like, we freaked out because we could not move a muscle during the gonging. And it's because they must have been so exhausted with using, their hands and their bodies to massage, that this gave them complete and absolute rest. And the same thing happens with animals.
Yeah.
So we had, I did a session for a horse once in a stable who was not well at all, and they wanted to put him down, but this lady had rescued him. And he was alone in his stable, but there were all these other horses in many of the stables down the line. And he quietened down and he actually rolled over and calmed down completely. And all the other horses, as I was chanting, I looked and I saw all their heads out and they were all like almost falling asleep in their song. It was such a beautiful sight.
How sweet. Do you think, in your experience, animals are more sensitive to it versus humans?
Yes. Once I was teaching one of the students. I don't teach anymore, but earlier on she was practicing. And in the end, she said, you lie down, I will gong for you. So I lay down and my dog was on my stomach. He's a small Yorkshire Terrier. And we could not wake him up after the session, Nikhila. I was so scared that we had lost him.
Okay, but
I was
in deep
holding him
sleep
like this and shaking him and slapping him and about to throw water on his face when suddenly he took this very deep breath and back to life.
But why do you think that is? Why are animals more?
Because they have no filters, right? They have no resistance. They surrender completely, as humans should, with the sounds. So when I explain the water bowl, I explain the water bowl so that people can comprehend the effect it has on their body. Otherwise, if they feel the water bubbling and moving in their bodies, because we are so many percentage of water, almost 76% of water and other liquids, they tend to freak out and they wonder what's happening to them, you know. And sometimes I use this, it's an ocean drum, so it makes the sound of the waves. And people who are scared of water will actually just reach out and touch the floor to see that they are safe. And then their fear goes away because they are hearing the waves. And I have had people come back to me and say that they started taking swim lessons because they released the fear of swimming and drowning during a session. So it works amazingly. We have no words for it. It has helped people who are depressed. It has helped people in PTSD. It allows addictions to move away. I did private sessions for a gentleman who came to me saying, I think I'm turning into an alcoholic and I would like to do something about it. And we did several private sessions and he quit alcohol completely. Until today, he just holds a glass of water when he's at parties.
Amazing.
Yeah,
No,
and we
that's
do
what that openness is there, right? People have to let go and not be so attached and
correct.
open.
And they do, you know, because we create this safe space. Everybody's lying down, everybody's got eyes shut. You're covered, you feel like cozy and comfortable. And we tell people, listen to your bodies. You can turn whenever you want to. You can cough and sneeze. You can fall asleep and snore. We welcome all sounds and vibrations. And people laugh because I say, don't look at the men because I know the ladies snore too. And and sometimes they don't wake up after the session. They are in such deep sleep, you know.
Amazing.
And then I have to go and kind of put some perfume on my hands and make them smell it, and then they come back. So,
okay, understood.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Any last advice that you would like to give to our audience?
No, I don't use the word advice.
Okay.
It's adding to vice.
Okay, fine.
So maybe guidance. Guidance is simply this, that everything that's outside of us is inside of us, as we are taught in the solution as well. And so going deep daily for your own private practice is very important, whether you put some sound, some music. Let me just quickly clarify the difference between music and sound, Nikhila. So we have music which has a pattern, a sequence, a rhythm, a tune. So the mind, it keeps held and it does not move away. But with sound, we do not usually have a sequence, a pattern, a rhythm, and tune. So the mind tries to keep up, but it can't, and it moves away. So if and when we sit to breathe and meditate, and we want to put some kind of sound on, I would suggest we use sounds like the ocean or wind chimes or the bowls that are recorded or bird song or nature songs, Reiki music maybe, which is different slightly, so that your mind is able to move away and you are able to go deeper and deeper with each breath.
Okay. What is the last thing you wanted to do? 2 minutes, you said.
So I will do what we call the blessings of the gongs.
Okay.
And Don Conero recreated it from something that was done by a Japanese team at one of the UN, with one of the UNICEF gatherings for the children. And Betty, you can translate every line with me. So we say to everybody who's gathered here today, the gongs and I, we offer you peace. We offer you love.
Би та бүхэнд хайраа илгээлээ. Бид
We offer you friendship.
бид та бүхэнд нөхөрлөлийг илгээлээ.
We hear your needs.
Би хэрэгцээгийг чинь сонслоо.
We see your beauty.
Таны гоог харлаа, гоо цэцлэнг харлаа.
We feel your feelings.
Мэдрэмжийн чинь танд юу мэдрэгдэж байгаа тэр бүхний чинь би мэдэрч байна.
All wisdom flows
Бүх мэрэгэн ухаан урсан ундран гарч
from the highest source.
дээдийн дээд одоо их усүрээс
We honor that wisdom in you.
тэгээд таны дотоодод байгаа мэрэгэн ухаанд гүн хүндэтгэл үзүүлье.
For you
Таны төлөө
are another myself.
Та өөрийнхөө дотор байгаа нэгэнтэйгээ одоо яг бүрэн одоо нэгдээсэй гэж.
And I
Би
am another yourself.
би бол одоо нэгэн юм.
Let us work together.
Тэгэхээр энэ гаднаж байгаа, доторч байгаа бид хамтдаа одоо нэгэн хөл болъё.
For we are one.
Тэгээ бүгд бид нийлээд нэг юм аа.
Namaste.
How beautiful. Amazing. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Betty. Bless you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
That was beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Pleasure,
Thank you for
darling.
being here and
Маш их баярлалаа.
thank you.
Thank you.
So much gratitude. I'm going to run out and give you a hug.
Маш их баярлалаа. Маш их баярлалаа. Маш сонирхолтой байлаа. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
Bless you all. Bless you all. Bless your homes. Bless your families. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Love
Thank you so
you.
much
Love
for
you.
taking your time. Lots of love. Lots of love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Betty, Sogi, everyone. Thank you.
Bless you.
За тэгээ бүгдэнд нь баярлалаа. Тэгээд таны гэр орныг, таны ахын дүүс, төрөл төрөсөд гэр бүлийнхний бүгднийг нь бурхан их болтугай.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed. Please leave your comments and your feedback.
За тэгэхээр өнөөдрийн уулзалт нэлээд сонирхолтой байсан байх гэж бодож байна. Тэгэхээр та бүхэн коммент үлдээгээрэй, бас сэтгэлдээ үлдээгээрэй. Энэ уулзалтан дээр оролцож явах явцад одоо танд ямар мэдрэмж төрөв, ямар зүйлийг ухаарав гэд сэтгэлдээ үлдээгээрэй гэж хүсье.
We'll see you again next month with another guest with some other topic. We want to keep it interesting for you so you keep learning in different ways and understanding in different ways. It is going to be the last Thursday of every month. So just keep that in mind so that you know, and we'll be putting out the poster as well to remind you.